Sometimes love is not enough and the road gets tough, I don't know why. These haunting, enigmatic words echo the journey of our volatile yet flexibly stunning artist for this episode. The darkly glamorous, the intriguingly vintage dame, Lana Del Ray.
Lana Del Ray. A name that immediately ushers in an image graced with vintage glamour and shrouded in mystery. I can't think of another artist who epitomizes that dark charm so potently.
It's the enigma behind her contemplative gaze and ethereal voice that immediately draws you in. But it's her poetic, timeless lyrics that keep you mesmerized. Lyrics that can transform everyday love stories into modern myths.
And one of those transformative mythologies appears in our quote for the day, Born to Die. I'm guessing the road gets tough might have been an understatement for her journey.
I think you're onto something there, Evelyn. She brings a rich narrative to the table, complete with love, loss, fame, joy, and yes, the tough road she had to endure. It's something we're going to unravel today.
So, let's start at the beginning. It's always the best place, right? Born as Elizabeth Grant in New York City. Her father, Robert England Grant Jr., a successful domain investor, and her mother, Patricia Ann Hill, an executive for an advertising firm, residing in the upscale neighborhood of Lake Placid.
Elizabeth, who would later adopt the sultrier stage name Lana Del Ray. Sadly, her childhood was not as harmonious as the picturesque locale they lived in. She struggled with alcoholism by her teens and was sent away to a boarding school.
A difficult start indeed. Dealing with addiction at such a young age must have been incredibly gut-wrenching. That definitely seeps into her narrative and fuels her visceral lyrics.
Right. But it's not just the alcoholism part that is reflected in her music. Her struggle as a musician in her early years was quite significant too. She started singing in clubs at age 18 under various names like Sparkle Jump Rope Queen and Lizzie Grant, before finally becoming Lana Del Ray.
Yes, the glamour of the name certainly captures her essence, but it's her experiences and resilience during her breakout years that truly shape her music. You know, she had her share of critics and endured a lot of tough situations through her career.
It's precisely this rollercoaster of life events that color Lana Del Rey's potent lyrics. The somber hues, the moody undertones, and the emotional depth of these experiences echo throughout her catalogue.
Her roller coaster life did not stop at early alcoholism struggles. Yes, she eventually sobered up, but her journey to fame wasn't exactly smooth sailing. Remember the numerous names she went through before landing on Lana Del Ray? It's truly testament to her resilience.
Definitely. She didn't settle on a name or a persona until she found the one that resonated with her and her music. That takes courage.
Not just courage, Chris, but also a sense of self-awareness. To know when something isn't working, and then the determination to change, to experiment till something fits just right.
That experiment till it fits right idea can be seen clearly in Lana's music. She's not afraid to take risks, to push boundaries. Creativity and daring, two critical elements to any progressive artist.
And that's exactly what makes her unique. Her endurance throughout these challenging times shaped her lyrics and music. It's as if we're experiencing her life journey through her songs.
Like an open book through her music. It's a journey of resilience that inspires as much as it entertains.
You know, it's about bearing your soul, really. Just imagine the hidden heartaches, struggles, and triumphs that went into creating each song. It's courageous.
And who knew that all would shape her into the unique, unapologetic artist she is today?
Quite serendipitous, isn't it? In all her rawness and authenticity, Lana Del Ray unflinchingly faces the world. Her story, her lyrics, just as much a survivor's journey as an artist's evolution.
Choose your last words. This is the last time. Heavy, isn't it? Born to Die. Let's dive right in. For you guys, what is this song really saying?
It's reflective of the constant struggle with trust and the ephemeral nature of love. A fear that love won't last, conveyed through vivid metaphorical lyrics.
I think it's a journey of love navigating through chaos and uncertainty. It's not a fun, light love song we are used to. It's like a chilling reminder of the mortality wrapped with a nostalgic 60s vibe.
In Born to Die, Lana painted a bleak picture of love. She sings "We Were Born to Die," emphasizing the inevitability, the raw, rough reality. It's almost defiant in its melancholy.
Exactly. We see love portrayed in a complex, undisguised manner. The realness, the pain, it's jarring, and yet we are drawn in by it, don't you think?
I do. It's chilling and beautiful, like standing knee-deep in an ocean as the waves crash against you. She grips your heartstrings and pulls hard.
It's morose and alluring, a paradox like her. The lyrics, "Don't make me sad, don't make me cry," are so raw and revealing. But it reflects her authenticity, her undeniable appeal.
I guess that's the hallmark of Lana's music, isn't it? Keep making me laugh, let's go get high. It's a desperate cry to find happiness amidst a love she knows is doomed. It's hauntingly beautiful.
Her lyricism is so powerful there's an edge that hits home. 'Cause you and I, we were born to die. Such direct, poignant lines. It's masterfully crafted and beautifully poetic.
It's you, it's all for you. My favorite line from video games. Such a beautiful track. Jiwoo, you mentioned Lana's minimalist sound. Do you think we see that in video games?
Absolutely, Evelyn. Its rich but somewhat bare arrangement allows for Lana's voice to take center stage. The line you quoted, for instance, are backed by church bells, violins, and fleeting sound of video games in the backdrop, which gives that digital romantic aura. Remember the slow and sensual rhythm?
Oh yes, it has this magical ability to transport you to an entirely different era. It was a bold move considering the dominant upbeat pop scenario of the time, don't you think?
Kiss Me Hard Before You Go, Summertime Sadness. Switching gears to another anthem, Summertime Sadness. How do you guys interpret this?
On the surface, it's a story about heartbreaking farewell, but reading further in could be a discussion about mental health struggle, wouldn't you say, Chris?
Could be. Knowing Lana Del Ray, it surely has deeper layers. In a way, it's her tribute to the seemingly perfect cinematic love story that ends prematurely yet leaves lasting pain, intensifying with summer's heat.
Right. And her gloomy vocal deliveries, intense beats and melancholic lyrics, it's as if we can almost feel her mournfulness. The last kiss before bidding goodbye just intensifies the mood, doesn't it?
It indeed does, Jiwoo. With tags of road trips, vintage dresses, and Western landscapes, both the tracks touch upon love, fame, despair with their own shades of poignance. All right, I'll start then. My personal favorite is actually Off to the Races. The song just personifies Lana's dreamy vintage allure. It's like a cinematic dream, anticipating the wild ride that love is. It encapsulates the whole idea of a person willing to go any lengths for love, the thrill, the chase. I just find it deeply fascinating. The profound despair and hope coexisting in her lyrics strike a chord within me.
For me, it has to be Ride. When she says, "I hear the birds on the summer breeze, I drive fast, I am alone in midnight," it paints such a haunting and beautiful picture. The song feels like a personal dialogue about self-discovery and freedom, and on hard days at work, I find solace in her resonance with solitude and the open road.
I see. It's truly captivating how Lana's music has a way of mirroring our individual experiences.
No doubt. My pick would be Freak. The whole concept of finding someone who is as flawed as you and just embracing the madness together resonates with me. It projects an alternative perspective on love that's so raw and real.
Indeed, Chris, each song seems to reveal a different shade of love and life, doesn't it?
Yes, and add to that her vintage charm, the darkness, the depth. It's a poetic journey into the human heart through music.
So, did you guys know that Lana Del Ray, at one point in her career in 2015, was literally caught by the paparazzi while playing football?
Wait, what? She was probably just trying to blow off some steam from all her touring.
Exactly. She was out in the park, minding her own business, and decided to join in on a pickup game of football with some local kids. The next thing she knew, her photos were all over the internet.
I love that about her. Despite her melancholic music, she just seems to live life on her own terms. Have you guys heard about her tattoo?
Tattoo? Interesting. What's the story behind that?
She has a tattoo that reads "Trust no one" on her right hand. Seems like her cautionary advice to herself, due to the music industry struggles she faced in her early years.
Makes you realize that there's always more than meets the eye. She also has this odd pre-performance ritual, where she sips on herbal tea while listening to Nina Simone.
Nina Simone, huh? I think there's a little bit of Nina in Lana's music, the poignant lyrics, unique voice, and a lot of raw emotion all bundled together.
Absolutely. And talking about surprising fans, Lana is known to take lots of Polaroid pictures with her fans during her concerts. It's like she really wants to freeze those moments in time.
Just goes to show how far she's come in her journey. It's an intriguing contrast. Lana, the global music sensation, still holding on to her down-to-earth personality.
You know what's fascinating about Lana's work? Her unique songwriting process. She uses vintage glamour as her inspiration, which really sets her apart.
I have to agree, Evelyn. You can see the influence of such style in her music videos. But how exactly does it translate into her songwriting?
Well, Lana takes inspiration from both modern and classic sources, bringing them together to create an evocative blend of imagery and sound. She once mentioned in an interview that she's inspired by artists like Lou Reed, Billie Holiday, and Frank Sinatra.
Yes, Lana also has this magical way of using metaphors in her lyrics. Combined with her luxurious, dreamy voice, it's just incredibly mesmerizing.
I can only imagine how the idea generation must be. Do you know anything about it, Evelyn?
I've read that Lana often starts with a concept or a phrase that catches her imagination. She then fleshes that out, layering in nostalgic imagery and emotionally rich metaphors.
This explains why her songs feel like they belong to a different era altogether, yet they strongly resonate with the listeners of today.
It's like she's advising us to not forget the past while we move forward. Quite brilliant, don't you think?
Indeed. The intricacies of her songwriting is just another testament to her immense talent as an artist.
So, how does Lana Del Ray's distinctive voice and unique creative process shape her music?
Lana once said her music was cinematic, and I think that vocab fits perfectly. She does create soundscapes that remind you of a classic Hollywood noir film. Her voice, which can effortlessly shift from sultry whispers to powerful cries, paints emotions into her music that can hang in the air or shatter your heart.
I agree, Evelyn. It's like her voice is another instrument in the ensemble. Even when she sings hidden corners of vulnerability or despair, there's a certain elegance and gravitas. This control and depth in her vocal delivery really set her apart.
And what about her creative process? How does it intertwine with her distinctive voice?
Her creative process is intimately connected to her voice. Lana begins her songwriting with a concept or a phrase, then fleshes it out into a full song, but not before she voiced them. What's interesting, though, is how her style contrasts with a lot of pop music we hear today. Chris, you're pretty familiar with the indie pop scene. How would you compare her approach to other musicians?
I noticed her process is more introspective. Many pop songs are about universal emotions or experiences. But with Lana, it's personal. It's her unique narrative, her personal stories. They definitely resonate universally, but they start with her. And this intimacy really shines through in her voice. It's like she's sharing a piece of her soul.
That's so well put, Chris. She takes a part of her personal world, distills it through her creative process, and presents it to the world through her voice. It's the automotive design equivalent of concept to production, but Lana's product challenges and reconciles emotions.
Interestingly, I feel that alcohol also works like that. Unique taste, blending explanation will be given to those who visit my bar next time. But for now, I think her methods just prove that as long as the narrative is genuine, it resonates, irrespective of whether it's widely relatable or intensely personal.
It's interesting that Lana weaves socio-political themes through her lyrics, isn't it?
Definitely, and it's not just for the sake of being political. She's addressing some deep-rooted societal issues. Consider National Anthem or American. You see this theme of the American dream and its complexities.
Just as she adds layers to her cocktails, she interlaces her content with political references, making her lyrics ephemeral.
An excellent point you raised there, Evelyn. It's not just about the literal meaning of her lyrics, but the way she uses metaphors and underlying themes. For example, in Gods and Monsters, we glimpse this juxtaposition of religious iconography with the disillusionment of fame and excess.
That's true, she subtly draws attention to the darker side of American culture and fame. You see that in Money, Power, Glory, where she challenges the traditional pursuit of money and success, questioning whether it's truly fulfilling.
You can't miss her feminist viewpoint either. Pretty When You Cry is, in my interpretation, a stark commentary on women's struggles in a patriarchal society. A haunting reminder that women are still scrutinized for their appearance and emotional vulnerability.
With all these, she's not just a musician but a social commentator, subtly using her platform to raise awareness. Thus, Lana's lyrics are more than a poetic expression. They are a mirror to society. It's evident, isn't it, how Lana Del Ray has helped shape the pop noir and dream pop genres through her unique sound?
Absolutely, Chris. The vintage glamour inspiration that we've been talking about, it truly defines her music. And that's what pop noir is about. It's a blend of modern pop, vintage glamour, and that hint of mesmerizing darkness that only Lana can convey so beautifully.
And then there's her influence in the dream pop genre, especially through her atmospheric minimalist sound. Her music envelops you, it takes you to this dreamlike state. It's haunting, nostalgic, yet somehow comforting, don't you think?
I feel like her sound is distinctive thanks to her choice of instruments and arrangements, which contribute heavily to that dream pop aesthetic. Guys, remember the lush orchestration in video games? That's a perfect example.
Well articulated, Chris. Reflection of her unique style and knack for storytelling lies in how her music has influenced these genres. Her music draws you in and leaves you longing for more.
There is a melancholic beauty in her songs that resonates at a deep level. Makes you reflect, doesn't it?
For sure. Because of that, she's opened up avenues for other artists to be more reflective and daring with their own music. She has quite truly helped reinvent and push the boundaries of these genres. Despite the haunting nature that you brought up, Jiwoo, there is an undertone of hope, resilience, and authenticity.
Our listeners have really been engaging with Lana's music, and we've received some interesting comments and questions. Let's dive into them. Chris, would you take the lead?
Of course, Evelyn. Here's one from a listener named Amy. Listening to the haunting stories in Lana's lyrics, I can't help but wonder if she has ever experienced a psychological crisis. There's so much uncertainty, despair, yet beauty in her words. Any thoughts? This is a fascinating question. What do you think, Jiwoo?
Well, Amy, while it's tempting to draw conclusions about Lana's mental state from her music, it's important not to speculate. Her lyrics are incredible works of storytelling that can resonate with many of us, but they are not an accurate reflection of her personal mental health. Plus, artists often use art to express a wide range of emotions. It doesn't necessarily mean they reflect their current state.
That's a great point, Jiwoo. Here's another question from a listener. What's the meaning behind the repeated line, "Heaven is a place on earth with you" in video games?
Interesting. I think that line encapsulates the idea of finding heaven in love and shared experiences. It can be interpreted as Lana's belief that true happiness is found not in material possessions, but in relationships and connections with those we care about. Do you concur, Evelyn?
Absolutely. It's a romantic sentiment that highlights the power of authentic connections. Heaven becomes a metaphor for that deep contentment one can find in love. On a lighter note, do any of you have a favorite Lana Del Ray lyric?
Choose your last words, this is the last time, from Born to Die is a personal favorite. The lyric, in essence, tells a story of an ending relationship where the words spoken would be remembered forever. It's always moved me deeply.
Every time I close my eyes, it's like a dark paradise from Dark Paradise. The melancholy yet beautiful contradiction makes it intriguing. Has always resonated with me. Evelyn, what about you?
Good choices. I've got A War in My Mind from Ride hits home for me. It's a powerful lyric about inner struggle that I believe many can relate to. Let's celebrate some of Lana's achievements, folks. She has come a long way since her days as a newcomer in the music industry.
Spot on, Evelyn. We can't ignore her big leap in 2013, when she won the Brit Award for International Breakthrough Act. I believe that quite literally marked the acceleration of Lana's career on the world stage.
Certainly. 2014 was another big year, too. Her album Ultraviolence debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. That's a colossal achievement for any musician.
And how about her soul-wrenching performance in Once Upon a Dream for the movie Maleficent? It truly showcased her ability to adapt her unique style to various media. Not to forget, her track Young and Beautiful for The Great Gatsby also earned her a Grammy nomination.
Incredibly noteworthy achievements indeed. Let's not forget the critical acclaim her 2019 album Norman Functioning Rockwell received. Surprisingly, it was the first of her albums to make it to the Rolling Stones list of 500 greatest albums of all times. Has that strike your chord, Evelyn?
Definitely, Chris. In terms of collaborations, Lana has worked with some seriously notable names too. From collaborations with The Weeknd on Lust for Life to her teaming up with rapper A$AP Rocky, she's never been afraid to break the mold.
Absolutely. She's also managed to influence a slew of modern artists. Can we possibly ignore Billie Eilish and Taylor Swift listing Del Ray among their top influencers? That's quite a testimonial.
Unquestionably, without Del Rey's influence, dream pop and indie pop would have been a whole different ballgame. Her profound impact has indeed truly reshaped these genres.
So wrapping up, it's been quite the journey exploring Lana Del Rey's enigmatic world today. My biggest takeaway is how Lana's unique sound and brave lyrics paved the way for a unique subgenre.
I felt drawn to her melancholic tunes and her battles with the heavy themes of loss and identity. Her defiance against mainstream expectations is refreshing.
From my end, I admire her discerning use of societal elements. It creates this blend of haunting tunes and thought-provoking lyrics, a style that's truly her own.
What about future releases? Where do we think her journey is taking her next?
I believe Del Rey may delve deeper into the societal themes. It feels like a path she's already set upon given her recent works.
Absolutely. And as for the sound, I expect she'll continue to challenge boundaries and genres. She's got this ability to evolve her music while keeping her distinct Lana-ness intact.
Without a doubt, the exploration of her music was a treat to our ears and minds. As enigmatic as she is, Lana gives us a lot to cherish and ponder with every track she births.
Before we sign off, a little teaser for what's in store next. Here's a hint. Our upcoming musician is known for her soul-bearing lyrics, an indie darling with a vehemently loyal fan base.
Oh, I've got it. Her songs haunt us with raw emotion, true slices of life, resonating deep in our hearts. She's a fiercely honest songwriter.
She has an amazing ability to blend indie folk and electronica. Her music often treads the line between the euphoria and disillusionment of young adulthood. Any guesses, Evelyn?
Keen on seeing if our clues hit the bullseye. Meanwhile, let's remind our listeners to keep sending in their interpretations, theories, and questions about lyrics. They breathe life into our discussions.
Well said, Evelyn. We encourage your participation to make this journey even more interesting. But for now, we'll keep you guessing.
Indeed, listeners, you'll have to wait until next time to reveal the secret. Until then, stay curious, stay lyrical,